Alright, welcome guys. It is the Shaman Sense Podcast, the first ever episode. I'm Adrian Bear.
And I'm Eileen, McCormick.
Alright guys, so this is going to be a podcast where we talk about spiritual shit and get on some interesting people every now and then. And you guys might have seen the other podcasts I was involved in, but this is sort of a different style of things. So why don't we start with Eileen? Why don't you tell us what you do with your life?
Well, we currently reside in Phnom Penh, Cambodia, and I am reading tarot cards full-time in a Cambodian market. I didn't start out coming here that way. Actually, yesterday was my 6-year anniversary here, which is kind of cool.
6 years, nice.
Yeah. I originally came here to do development work, but then through the course of doing Ayahuasca and just different spiritual journeys, I was guided to read cards in the market. So at first, started off very basic, and then from there, it just kind of picked up, and more people heard about me. So yeah, that's what I'm doing full time.
That's awesome. Yeah. All right, so if you guys have never seen any videos or anything like that online, sorry, just excuse me for a minute. My screen keeps doing really stupid things. I want to change it for a moment. It's the first episode, guys. Give us some leeway. It'll get better as we go along. But so if you guys have no ideas what like Cambodian markets look like, I'd suggest maybe checking out some pictures on Google Images or something, or like going on YouTube, or just see what the markets look like. Basically, there are these like structures with tin roofs, so they get as hot as hell, and there's like these tiny little stalls, and like there's hairdressers in there, and there's food you can buy in there, butchers, you can buy like soap and whatever else you actually want to buy is available there. Our little guy is deciding to jump in the tail here and be a dumbass, so yeah. So how's it been adjusting wise, like getting used to the market and all that type of stuff?
Well, it's been like 1.5 years since I've been in the market, and I'm in the hairdressing section, so I get to meet more diverse or more maybe like modern Cambodians versus like, sorry, the cat really likes to bite my hand, versus like being in maybe a section where more people are familiar, like the fruit section, for instance. Like,
okay.
So I do get like Cambodians, and I do get foreigners or expats, but I like to think it's more diversified because I'm in the hairdressing section. Like I'll get, the bar girls, the prostitutes, I'll get, working people, UN people. It's just, you just really don't know who's going to come in, which has been interesting. So it's like almost like I'm some sort of untrained anthropologist, just kind of going through day to day, and I just don't know what I'm going to learn from like other people's lives and what they're going to maybe learn from the cards. So it's been interesting.
Would you say like you've noticed like running themes or whatnot in the things that people ask for?
Well, I think I think my nerd night videos online, I did a nerd night on this, like my journey as a tarot card reader or a foreign tarot card reader, because like I'm the first American to kind of do this, and I get mostly questions like love, that's gonna be a general theme, like where should I go, what about my career, land, family. Cambodians, it's like very cultural, traditional thing, like you must find a way to get your daughter married, so that's going to be a reoccurring thing. Like they're always very worried they won't be able to get married for some reason, and they have like a very specific timeline, like you're 20, you're getting old now. So yeah, it's been interesting.
What do like most people here end up getting married before they're 20, or at least like in the village or something? I mean, maybe in the village it's more like that, but in Phnom Penh I wouldn't say it's like that. It's just like the way they speak, it's like in their perception that, oh my God, I'm 20, I'm supposed to be married by now. And I think it's something to do, like their parents got married at like 19 and 20. Okay. And like, you know what I mean? I think it kind of stems from that. But I think the newer generation, maybe not so much, especially not in Phnom Penh, or it's less likely so. Do you think like the newer generation of Cambodians are as believing in like Cambodian magic and all that type of stuff, or are they more skeptical? Oh, no, I would say animism and belief in mysticism is quite strong here. I don't know that they understand like where it stems from sometimes, because like me or you would go to a bookstore and be like, why did they do this at the Wat? Why does the monk practice it this way compared to like if you've ever been to Thailand or Vietnam or whatever? We kind of get curious about the differences where they're just like accepted as is. They don't like go
not unless they until they get older, I would say they don't really go and look back in history of like why it is the way it is.
Okay.
Because like I always found it interesting, like they don't encourage women to become nuns here or monks. Like you wait until after your children are grown and you're married. Like you first go through that part of your life and then you become a nun or a priest. Like you don't give up family life and do that. Like even the monks, it's not like a permanent state of being, you know, like a lot of monks here are orphans or just kind of living. There aren't like that many professional monks, you know. So it's I don't know. I definitely think there's a belief in mysticism and a practice of it, but I don't know that it's like understood or really like philosophically debated until maybe they're in their 60s or something.
It's interesting because I remember like that one woman that you've got here, that one that was like cursing you out and everything like that. Where is she actually from? She's like American Khmer or something like that? Yeah,
sure. I actually haven't had too many confrontations with people, even though like before I started, everyone was like, oh man, like you're gonna get some acid thrown on your face by someone's like husband who's cheating and you like read it in the cards. It was actually, my first conversation was with an older woman who might have had a stroke or something problematic, so you know I feel bad even like maybe like taking it personally or even discussing it, but like she had like one, you know, like kind of a droopy face thing, and she was just very angry, and I don't know if that's something to do with like her brain chemistry, but she came to the market and just made a huge scene, was standing up in front of everyone saying I'm cheating people, I'm not being fair or honest, I'm helping support like ignorance because like supporting phenomena, mysticism, ghosts, spirits, in her opinion was like keeping people uneducated. And she felt like my role in life should be teaching English because I'm American, and which is, it's just kind of funny, like, I actually
it's kind of like racist on her part, actually, if you think about it. It's like that all that we're good for because we're white people in Asia must be teaching English, you know what I mean?
I mean, I guess so, but like the thing that's even more ironic is like if we were really going to get into a moralistic argument, like leaving race out of it, I you know, I have degrees and whatnot, but I have actually 0 certifications or degrees in English. So even though knowing this, she still feels like it's like better for me to go as an unqualified educator, you know, and as an educator yourself, I would think you would find it a little bit offensive that it's just like anyone can go and teach when there's like an actual science or there's actually, you know, a way about doing those things that make you a good teacher, and just assuming like anyone can do it, just go in and do it. That was kind of her mindset when she was having an argument with me. And that, you know, she couldn't see why someone would come to maybe immigrate into Cambodia just because they want to fulfill happiness and want to help people in a specific way, versus like coming here as just performing something then leaving. And like when she had the argument, other people were like, she came days before, whatever, people brought this up to her. It's like, people go to America, like people go all over the world just to feel happiness. It's not always to like serve the people. Like of course, if I'm in a country such as Cambodia where there's development and there's suffering and things, I would like to hope that my work would also like in one way relieve suffering, but like I'm also here for my own being as well.
For sure.
I mean, like, so I don't deny the selfish aspect of choosing a country or choosing a place to live, but I also am aware that I have a greater purpose than just like fulfilling my own need to be in a specific country or place.
For sure, I mean, this is like one of those things, I guess, that you know, I've actually been feeling relatively like anxious, or it's I'm trying to like actually pin down this emotion. It's almost like frustration, but it's not frustration. It's almost like being anxious, but it's not being anxious. It's just like it's like on the verge of like expectancy or something like that. I don't really know how to describe it, but it's like you know, I pinned down a few things. It's like because I mean, any of you guys watching the channel, you know that I've been offline for quite some time, and this is like now the second thing that I'm going to be releasing, and then this is going to be a permanent fixture with Eileen and I and other people. But you know, I've gone through a hell of a lot, and I was working for myself, doing the ayahuasca and helping people with like shamanic healing, all that type of stuff, and doing the channel and all these type of things. And then I had to stop that just because of like emotional things going on, and you know, I was due to go to New Zealand, all that type of stuff, and so I needed a job. So I had to take this job teaching English again, And you know, by virtue of people that I know, who just like, yeah, there's this place. I actually have a lovely job now at a lovely school, so that I'm actually happier than any other school that I've ever been in. So I'm really enjoying that job. But it's like, now that I know, it kind of feels like now that I know that money is coming in again, right? It's like I'm getting money from the school, it's a decent salary and everything. Now it feels like, I know it's not the time, you know, like I'm starting to get back into my work like this, and I'll have ayahuasca things coming up in August sometime, but it's like, now I guess it's that eagerness, is like, yeah, I know I'm not teaching forever, like, you know, like my work is doing the healing, my work is doing this, my work is doing that. So like, even though I'm really happy with this job and really enjoying it, it's just like, now that like I have this financial security again, it's like, yeah, now.
Isn't it kind of interesting though, that like sometimes we're just have a job to have a job, and sometimes things become our vocation, and it's like a calling, you know, and like, you know, I obviously had no idea I was gonna, you know, come to Cambodia, leave development, leave like, you know, a career type of path to pursue spirituality, mysticism, and energy healing, and all, you know, tarot cards and intuition. But then it just became kind of a calling, and it was like, I would say, I don't know if you feel this way about, you know, you making ayahuasca or shamanism, but like when I'm in the work sector, I have, you know, I have background in a skill set that allows me to sort of function, but I always felt like I was lacking in some way, like I just didn't have the right skill set to really advance in a typical office or work setting, where like, this makes more sense to me, that this is my skill set, and I advance much more well with this, like I can see how this is easier for me, where like I feel like I'm kind of like wearing a mask, or like kind of trying to fit in more of a traditional setting. Like there are concepts, you know, of the office that I or skill set that I have that I can apply, but like it doesn't fulfill the 100% aspect of my skill set, I feel. And then when I go for like job evaluations, or I'm trying to work with people, it's like I feel like it's not in the right kind of context. So I don't know if you feel kind of similar, like when compared to doing energy healing or shamanism or teaching.
I think so, yeah, because like, I mean, I get a lot of like joy, for example, when I am teaching the kids and they do retain something and they actually get it, right? But like, I get way more joy from hearing a room full of people throwing up around me, as weird as that sounds, because it's like if you guys don't know what ayahuasca is, please check out one of my other videos on this channel. It's like it's a plant medicine, and it cleans out your spirit and cleans out your mind and cleans out your body. You throw up, you might throw up a lot, but it's weird for me. Like, job satisfaction now is literally like, okay, it's been some time, and I know this person really needs healing. Yes, he's throwing up. That's fantastic, and I give a little thumbs up. It's a
good thing.
You know, it's good things. Or like when somebody leaves my house after healing or something like that, and they're just kind of like, they have this look on their face, like, that's job satisfaction.
Yeah, that's true. That's pretty interesting. So how about like, what would you say your parents support or like, do you have support from your family and friends from like childhood or something like this that support you on this path? Because like maybe there's some people out there that have some sort of gifts, and they're like, how the F am I going to like escape this system, or like I'm going to disappoint everyone around me? Like, did you ever feel that way about getting into this sort of stuff?
Well, with my family, I guess, you know, I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness, and it was sort of like a long path of me discovering what I believe, learning what I believe, and like integrating that. And I think I've actually garnered probably the most respect from my father, even though he was the one who was like most against most of the stuff, just because like I haven't deviated from like, well, no, this is what I believe, and this is why I believe what I believe, and this is like the concrete reality of the things that have come to me and like the stuff that I've experienced. And then when I was back in South Africa, like 2 years ago now, I think it was 2 years ago, you know, my best friend back home, Damia, if you're watching, shout out to you. You know, he was actually saying how his dad like is super proud of me and everything like that. And Uncle Kun, that's Tamia's dad, is you know, he's always been very good with advice and all these type of things like that. He's that kind of guy. And it was nice to have that, like, wow, Uncle Kun thinks that I'm doing really, really well and was really proud of me. That was a really cool thing. So I do feel like I actually get like a lot of support, you know, from my family. I think they see like.
Have you influenced them? Are they still practicing the Hoboiness? Have you influenced them to embrace mysticism?
I believe I've definitely influenced my own family, like father and mother and brother and sister and stuff like that, to like be a bit more open to things, and they've gone through their own spiritual changes and stuff like that. Like my core family, brother, sister, mom, dad, they're not involved in Jehovah's Witness stuff anymore. I think my dad still believes more of those tenets than probably anyone else in my family. My mom, I'm not really sure. Like, I have a feeling that even though she hasn't quite said it, that maybe my mom might have become an atheist.
Interesting.
I think there's a, not that she, like my mom is very intuitive, and I do believe that, again, even though she hasn't said it so much, I do believe that she knows that she has powers. Maybe she has said something like that, because my mom, like, magic or whatever definitely runs through her bloodline.
Yeah,
like
sure.
It comes from like my great-grandmother or great-great-grandmother, basically. Like there's this photo, like I don't really know much about this woman. It's just like her name was Eleanor McCann, Irish, from one of those tiny little islands off of Ireland. So even though Ireland is pretty small, like the islands are like that fucking big basically. There's only a few hundred people, but there's this photo that we have of her, and like you can pick her out immediately. There's a number of people in the photo, but you can see her immediately because it's just like witch. You just look at her, it's like that woman was a witch. You don't really need to like you could pick it up like that. So yeah, the magic definitely runs in my mom's bloodline. And
do they ask you for energy healing and stuff like this, or do they want to join you in an ayahuasca session?
I would like my family to do ayahuasca. Like my sister does want to come and visit, but I don't know. You know, I'm trying to. I don't know if she ever wants to do anything like that. I would like her to do it very much. I'm sure my dad would do it. I'm pretty sure my mom would do it. My brother, he tried one of my earlier batches, but this was like.
Yeah.
But it wasn't one that actually worked. All it ended up doing was giving us a little bit like motion blur and then a bit of throwing up. So that was before I'd gotten actually
your own recipe.
Yeah. He hasn't done it again. I don't know. Who knows if I'll ever see my brother again? I hope so. I believe I will. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe he'll come out here. That'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, you never
I'd enjoy that.
Who knows? Yeah, that's very possible.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know. And like my dad, I was always very into like the sort of side of martial arts training.
Yeah.
You know, he has said that like he has like sort of healing hands or whatever, and he would like every now and then put them on the mom or whatever. So
they have a concept of it. That's good.
I think they definitely have a concept of it for sure. They have a concept of it, and maybe like, you know, I do believe people in my family could be like all the people in my family. I think they could be quite skilled at it, at a lot of these things, but maybe still because of upbringing or whatever, or maybe because they just don't want to. They don't.
Yeah. Huh.
Which is interesting. I mean, I don't know. What about your sisters? Like, have they? You think they have got any gifts?
I don't know. Like, my one sister is way more creative and was always good at art and stuff, but I don't know if she's maybe. I don't want to say suppress the art, but maybe like she's channeled the art into more like Pinterest type stuff. You know, home decor and things. She's always been good at organizing, so I think I'm pretty sure she's still working as like an executive secretary or something in a doctor's office, or I don't know, executive administrator. I don't know what you call those exactly. My other sister, I think she's more on a journey path of discovery, you know. So I feel like she might be more willing to. I think I've mentioned on like one ayahuasca session, my younger sister came up, and then like the next day out of the blue, she called me and asked for a tarot card reading, even though at the time she like didn't know I was reading tarot cards. And that was like kind of like the starting, I guess, of just like opening myself up to be like, well, I'm just gonna let people, my family know and deal with the consequences. So Like for a year, when I did the tarot card readings, I kept it a kind of secret because like my family is very Irish Catholic, and like I would say I grew up in New York. I'm very suburban. Like you get a career, you get a job, you like want to achieve, you want to achieve and achieve and achieve, and achieving is like a big thing. And like I guess the concept of what is achieving, like to me now, I mean I also like to achieve, but like being able to say like, oh, I didn't fail at reading tarot cards in a Cambodian market despite the odds against me. Like I feel like that's an achievement. But
pretty much. I mean, like it's not every freaking foreigner that comes here and can do that type of shit. That's
no, and like statistically, I think like the Chinese and Vietnamese ones that open up, they only last like 4 or 5 months. So like on the whole, even if I was like Cambodian or Asian or something, like they don't seem to last quite so long. So I mean, but like, you know what I mean? I come from like, family that's like, you should want to have like a specific career goal that people in society want to understand. And like, it's less of an uphill battle if you go about things that way. So I don't necessarily blame or have, upset feelings or whatever, or negative feelings towards being directed in that way, because like it did direct me towards education and maybe getting me to where I am. So I don't see it as like a negative per se, but then like I'm not going to call up my family on the phone and say, oh, I had this like amazing day reading tarot cards, because that's like kind of rubbing salt in the wounds, So I just have to be more aware, or more like in tune with the situation, because you don't want to push someone that isn't ready to handle something. Yeah. And if like you're the one in the position of understanding and awareness, it's not really fair to maybe like over densify their situation or mess up with their vibrations, is how I feel. So I make sure not to over impose. Like I don't try to over push, because I mean I have a habit of doing that anyways, as you know, because I want to be like, this is right, but like the few times I've done that, it just blows up in my face. Like I think one time I had an argument with my mom on the phone because she was just really trying to like bring me down to like a level of like, oh, I'm like a horrible person and blah blah. And I was just like, well, what if I'm a saint? Like how do you she's raised Catholic, she wants to go to church. I'm like, all the people that like are in the Bible were basically like shunned in their life. So I was just using this as an example, and it just made her really angry, because she wasn't ready to even think of the concept that like she is God, I am God, she can be a saint, I can be a saint. So like her retaliation was like, I'm more of a saint than you, and she's a nurse and she's a very good nurse. So I was like, maybe you are. I mean, you're a nurse, you're healing people, like you could be a saint. I don't know. I don't reject that out of you though. Where like, she wants to reject the goddess or the saint or the creator or the God within me. And I want that to flourish in everyone, including her, including myself, So that's been a interesting thing, I guess, is like, I don't know if she'll get to a place of acceptance with it. My dad's just kind of like, whatever. My sisters, they don't really say much, but for her, I know it's more difficult, and like they've been working on her in her sleep or in her dreams. I think I've told you that. Like, I always try to make sure I'm not projecting, or I'm not, I'm not limiting or blocking my relationship with my bloodline, because like I am far away, and I didn't grow up under the like closest of terms with people. Like my parents were divorced, etc., etc. So like part of my work in Ayahuasca was always like make sure like I'm not projecting or I'm blocking anything. Like I wanted to make sure that channel or bridge is completely open. And I believe it's happened that way. It's just like you said, you have to wait for someone else to claim their own vibration, their own readiness, their own empowerment. Like I can't over-enforce like, we're gonna have a relationship now and it's gonna be like this and this and this, and like I can see where it's gonna go in the future, but that's that's for them to figure out, like for each person to claim or whatever. So I think everyone, like if you're gonna work with magic, or if you're gonna be working in maybe an alternative context, like it's gonna be an uphill battle. Like I was an atheist for a while. I renounced Catholicism when I was like 9. I started to practice Wicca, and it was like, everyone thought I was a little bit crazy. At one point, like when I had the Ouija board, my dad went through this phase where he was like a born again Christian, and they like went and like exorcised me up on like the altar. Right. Like I've been through all those types of weird situations.
Yeah, I went through.
Just don't want to get you down, I guess.
I went through some of that stuff too. It was quite funny. Like when I moved to England, it was nice to actually like be able to like do the things that I wanted to do, like religion wise or like spirituality wise, and not like be hounded. And then I bought like two nice like candle holders for altars that had pentacles on, and I bought this wooden pentacle. And I was like emailing my brother, and I bought like a little crystal ball thing for scrying, and I bought like a little wand thing or whatever, like with a crystal on and everything like that. And I sent an email to my brother. It's like, oh, this is so cool, it's so nice to be able to do this stuff and blah blah blah. That was also when I bought my first set of tarot cards, and then it was like, I don't know why my mom read my brother's email, opened his email. I have no idea what she was doing, but it was like, then there was this whole big thing, and then I had like my grandmother at the time. She's like, oh, he's drinking cat's blood and doing all this. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. It was like, I'm definitely not drinking cat's blood. And, even like, we had these like fairs, like that happen every year in Middleburg, and there's like stalls there and playground or fairground attractions and all this type of shit. And like, I remember the one year, like, I liked buying little necklaces and stuff. Like, I still like little necklaces, and the one was just like a yin yang. And then like I love this thing. And like my dad got into his head at one stage because he goes through these things. Like it's very funny. Like,
my dad also goes through things.
He raised us to think for ourselves, very much so, to question things and think for ourselves. But then like every now and then he gets his bug in his arse, and like he took the yin yang somewhere and like took like a fucking hammer and chisel and like split it up and threw it away. I'm like, okay, just I like that thing. Like, why? What the hell is the?
That's funny.
What's the point of that, Dad? But like I said, like my dad, I think has probably got the most respect for me.
Where you go and
my
stuff.
family, yeah, he's very. I think he's very, very proud of me. Like the only, I would say, issues that I guess I have with my dad is more like now, not with my religious or spiritual things. It's along the lines of like, what am I doing with my life as far as it goes? Like career is like he wants me to, maybe try to go back to South Africa or do something and like get one of these careers and like put nose to the grindstone and stuff like that. But I just really don't believe that's how the world is supposed to work. Like if any of you guys out there know of Abraham Hicks, I've been listening to a lot of Abraham Hicks because it's been helping me out a shitload. And so it's this woman by the name of Esther Hicks, and was her husband Jerry. And Esther started becoming like a medium, I guess, or like a channel, and she started receiving this being that says it's pure source energy, and it calls itself Abraham. Well, that's at least how she translated it. And so all these things are very much about like manifestation and keeping your vibration, so the way that you resonate, the speed at which the energy and stuff around you moves, keeping that like as high as possible and keeping sort of in the middle of it. They call it the vortex. Something that I've called the void for a very long time, even before I started getting into this Abraham Hicks stuff. But anyway, like the whole thing is like, if I'm in this state, like, and I keep pushing and pushing and pushing, like putting my nose to the grindstone and thinking that I'm going to get somewhere and move up the ranks, but I'm extremely unhappy, I really do believe it's just keeping yourself disconnected from the true part of yourself, which can have absolutely everything that you want. You know what I mean? So it's
like a manifestation sort of.
Yeah, it's definitely
magic.
going against your own magic, to like be doing something just because like, oh well, like I'll get promoted and I'll only put more money and I can buy this house and I'll pay off the house maybe when I'm 75 and at that time I'll be retired and then you're just like slowing yourself down, whereas you could have access to absolutely everything that you want, and just by slowly bit by bit, that's been pretty damn evident just to me in these 2 or so weeks that I've been doing this stuff. Like stuff has been coming to me. It's these small things and small happinesses, and it's getting more and more and more. So I would highly suggest checking out like Abraham Hicks, guys. Like I
think that's definitely a good resource as well, for sure.
Yeah.
And it's interesting just the way the concept works. I'm just like also curious too. Though, like, so we law of attraction and stuff, that became a big thing around like 2000. So a lot of people are aware of this, but still like, it seems like someone's practicing it like yourself. Like, isn't it interesting that your parents or society or people you talk to, they're kind of a little bit annoyed that like you're not suffering with them or not like sacrificing, you know, in the same way, and it seems to like mess with them.
I think
and
so.
It's like messing with their well, I mean, maybe I shouldn't say it's messing with their vibration, but maybe it's limiting what they can be working with.
I think so, because like it's you're putting in more resistance, I guess. You're putting in more resistance to the book because you see like, oh, but this person is happy here and they're getting this happiness here and stuff like it. Like it's almost like a where's mine kind of thing. But at the same time, it should be like a that's possible. Whoa, that's possible.
And maybe do you think there's something about that, like for your parents, for instance, like they see what they could have done or the other paths that were available to them at the time of like your age, for instance, and they didn't take it and they regret that. So like instead of dealing with that regret or with that whatever feelings going on, that they like divert to like focusing on you. Because I also wonder that about, you know, my family and friends as well. Like when I first like, you know, back to my mom was like, she raised us, my parents were divorced, so she had to do most of like the financial support, and she, I mean, obviously I'm grateful for that, but one of her like, you know, jabs to me was like, don't you think I wish I could sit on a market floor all day, like, you know, I'm lazy and this and that. But it's like, if sitting on a market floor would have made her happy, I wish she would have done that in my childhood. Like I'd rather her have been happy than maybe suffering in whatever way she obviously must have been consuming that in some way.
I also think these things are like the benefit that our generation is receiving from there being too many overeducated people unable to get jobs, right? We're receiving the benefit of that because we can see that, and we can see what happened to our parents because they were still raised under this illusion from their parents that you work hard, you make shitloads of money. Yes, in our grandparents' day, that was it. That was very, very true. Like you could like, I'm going to be a self-made man. I'm going to start in the mailroom. I'm going to work my way up to blah blah blah. And that was very, very true. And then that afforded people more education. So you had people come in there, and then there was less jobs. People in higher positions that wanted to keep their money, you know, but they would still let a little bit of the growth happen. So then our parents had to struggle a bit more. And then the people in the higher up positions started being like, I want to keep more money and I want to make these people work a little bit harder because I can't let them get to the position I'm in. And then our parents had to work a little bit more and suffer more. So they're still under that illusion that their parents proved correct.
Like they'll reach some sort of pentacle of their career. Maybe they will, and
you know. So it's but like for us, we just see it's like we've seen how our parents struggle, you know. And like I'm so very, very grateful for everything my parents have given me. Like they've just been helping me so much recently as well. And I'm super fucking happy that they're in New Zealand. That like they can actually take care of them, you know. Like they can get all the medical stuff they need, all that type of stuff. It's really, really awesome. They have that now, but it's just like, you know, I would love my mom to go and just get out of the call center and go to school and study because she wants to. I know she wants to. She wants to go study like to be a naturopath. I want that to happen for her. Yeah. I want my dad to be in that position where if tomorrow he feels like getting on a plane and coming and visiting me because he misses his son, and he misses his sons a hell of a lot, I want him to be able to do that. You know what I mean? And I do really feel that the best way for everyone to do that type of thing is to get in the void and stay there. Like
just
keep
being
raising
the
your
creator
vibration.
center, being the creator center.
You know?
This is very interesting, yeah. But then, like, this is, like, kind of another aspect of being in the void, which me and you just kind of go against. It's like, we all need these stories. So, like, you know, you have your story, I have my story. We just shared, like, our biology, our past, our present, whatever. We're kind of, so we're, like, relating to this, and we're like, really sticking our energy field to this. Like, I think I told you I've gotten into Alberto Villodo or whatever.
Alberto Villodo.
Yeah, and, like, part of that is, like, there's this whole journal exercise where it's like you write everything that happens down in your life and you make it as like horrible as possible, and then you go and do the same exercise but you make it as like positive as possible. Mm-hmm. So it's like, you know, even if it's like the worst thing ever, like you lived a genocide, you like you put it in such a way that like you don't have to make this like hero, victim, perpetrator
Yeah, you can
sort
be
of.
like, I never have to wait in queues. It's fantastic because there's only ever like 2 people. It's great. Yes, I am making fun of genocide. I'm sorry. I'm trying to think of how do you make genocide a positive
It's
thing?
just like, well, like you coming out of genocide. I don't know
Yeah,
how to
yeah,
make
yeah.
it possible.
I know.
Like,
I'm just making
but I
fun.
mean, like, you know, even the most horrific events in your life, you know, you like, you put that down, but it's like, it's yarn, it's thread, it's like, you know, you're weaving yourself up, and like, that's not really who you are anyways, or that's not who you're going to become. It's just imprints on your energy field. So like, this is something also, like, if you want to stay in the void, we have to kind of de-shed some of that, which like is hard because like, there's the self-identity, there's the ego, it's not, you know, balancing all this out so you don't lose yourself, but like you're not holding on to the past.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a balancing act, I would say. But like, that's an example of like what we just all shared with you is very much like, this is my story and this is my self-identity now. And, you know, that also bogs you down in some ways to sit or stand in the void. So a lot of that you also have to lose, like, you know, you have to lose yourself in, which is interesting. Like, you have to keep letting go, the like more you let go, the higher you can go.
I think it's like you know, listening to this Abrahamic stuff again. It's like the way that they phrase it, right, is that like everything that you go through, she calls it the contrast, basically. This contrast that we live, like every single experience, we can't help being exposed to contrast. Contrast is like, it's something occurs in your life, some of that you enjoy, you prefer, some of that you don't prefer. But like when you encounter something that you don't prefer, it sends off these rockets of desire in the other direction of something you do prefer. And the whole point of getting in this state, this allowing state of what has been put out there into your energy field, is to allow those things that you've created through preference, being born, to come to you. Right?
Yeah.
So like your whole life and everything like that you go through, everything that's horrific, for example, it's created exceptionally huge rockets of desire in the other direction. So it's like letting that the momentum on the negative side of that thing die, like what you might view as negative. It's not denying it's like this happened. Yes, now I'm gonna let the momentum on that die, focus on other things in my life in a generally sort of positive way until I can eventually be in this receiving mode. And once that momentum on that thing has died, it's a part of you, true, but that story is a part of you, it's true, but that story is beautiful because it created something fucking fantastic that's going to be coming your way. So like that's what Shiva is like. They say that's why we came to this place in the first place. That's why we came to this planet, because this planet has such a huge level of contrast that we're just making these desires all the time. And according to their philosophy, like I'm speaking about this a lot because we decided that we would try and talk a bit more about manifestation things and all that type of stuff like that. Now, and right now it's helping me, so that's why I'm sort of stuck on this point right now. I have all sorts of other philosophies and stuff, but I'm just talking about the Adrian and Hicks stuff.
What I've read, like the light energy. I'm very much about light energy right now. So I think like we're both on separate paths to manifesting what we want, but I think it's just a bit different. Like I've become very obsessed with energetic patterns, and there was something about like our body's energy emits like 100 times per second, like a kind of hertz or whatever you want to call it, and just everything about the external light being is just really I'm very focused on, and it brought me like I ended up like manifesting a book, which I can't say it's the best written book, but it did give me a concept of like light beings and like different planets and galaxies, and like the theory was that, or in this book they claim it's like similar to what you're saying, someone was used as a channel to write down like there's this whole situation going on, and each of the alien races gave a part of themselves to help humans become conscious again, because on Earth we once were like fifth dimensional beings, we lost that vibration, so now they're saying in like 2033 we're supposed to evolve up, and so like some of what's going on Earth become from different aspects of these things are evolved from these kind of these galactic beings. And I don't know what's going to happen, but like supposedly this is all to help us like with the planetary wars and all these things going
Okay.
on. And it's like, which, you know, this is something I struggle with, as you know, is to deal with war, suffering, and destruction and disease.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really want to believe, like, you know, I've taken Adrian's course, which you guys should all take. It's your 5-module course. I don't remember when I took it. It was like a long time ago when you were like, everything has a place in the universe. And I was like, everything? I was like, I don't know about everything. I don't want to believe it's everything.
Like, it's not just like the universe, right? Like, I think it's like everything has a place in the multiverse. You know what I mean? Because it's like...
But for me, I was like, I don't want to believe that. I was like, oh, I don't think there's a place for disease. I don't think there's a place for, you know. And so it's one of those things I really struggled with. And I've come to, I guess, an acceptance with still like fighting the acceptance in some way about this. And like recently I've gone into reading the Bhagavad Gita, but like the abridged version with different contexts and things. One was like the Ram Dass version, now I'm reading the Osho version, and it's all about like me having to grasp this concept of like war has a place. You need to take back yourself. You need to take back and really deal with this. Like you can't avoid it. Like there's something to learn, I guess, in destruction.
Yeah.
And it has a place. But I have trouble like on a daily basis, like on you know an individual level or a societal level. I don't want to believe that because then you know I get worried like. Does that mean I shouldn't care about X, Y, and Z? Should I not care about vegan equality? Should I not care about the disharmonization? And I start to overthink it. But on a grander scale, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I think like it's if you keep on, again, I'm just using this Abrahamic stuff, like from that perspective. If you keep on worrying about it, and you keep on thinking about the inequality, and you keep on thinking about the suffering, you keep on thinking about all that type of stuff like that, it keeps that vibration active in the rest of the world, right? Because we are creators of our own universe, but we are co-creators of everything else together. So if like it's not that you don't care about it, it's that you care about well-being, you care about peace, you care about harmony. So when like you know God universe really knows that you really love it when everyone around you is having a great time. You really love it when everyone is treated with fairness and everyone's treated fairly. Everyone has the exact same opportunities available to them. Everyone has enough food. You really care about that shit. You really want that. So if more people get into the state of allowing what they want to come.
It's like don't say the anti. It's like what Mother Teresa said. Like you know, she wouldn't go to any anti-choice rally. She'd only go to a pro-life rally or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like thinking about the pro aspect of yourself or what the concept is. And I agree to that.
So like
but
Stanton, our buddy Stanton, he introduced this concept to me like a long time ago, and I think I had a similar concept, but I never called it the same thing. I think it comes out of this book, and I don't remember the man's name, and I never read the book, but I got introduced to the concept there again through like watching this Abraham Hicks stuff. I think the book is called Think and Grow Rich. But this guy has the concept of a mastermind, right?
Yeah.
So when more people are in concert thinking the same thing together and having the same sort of matching vibration together, it makes that occurrence more likely. Like and this is the thing. Like we have a buddy named Kevin who's very into spirituality and stuff like that. Like this is him and I have had this like conversation stuff like that. I firmly believe that the dominant factor in reality is perception. Right? The reason why magic isn't like it used to be, like being able to create a fireball and throw it at somebody, is because the dominant perception in the world is that is not possible.
okay, interesting.
Right?
I
So
would agree with
if
that.
that had to shift to a higher thing, magic like that would be possible again. But if your own belief in your own universe is that strong enough to override the collective unconsciousness, then it would be possible because your own belief in it is strong enough.
I mean, like, I definitely see where you're coming. I agree, like, on an extent with that, but I believe, like, the collective whole shut it off being passed on through our genes or DNA, and I think that's what stopped it. So, like, it's not as easy. Like now, even if I was like, example, given hallucinogens forever and ever and ever, and really like brainwashed to believe like I could throw fireballs, I don't think it would work just like that, because like I'd have to somehow have something activate my gene code. And if I could hack that, then I do believe that, like you said, we would turn that on. But I think the reason why, like, yes, it starts with perception. We perceptualize that this isn't good for us anymore for whatever reason. Then I think somehow we turned off this like aspect of ourselves through our DNA. And then as generations go on, it becomes further and further back. So it's going to be harder and harder, or it's going to have less and less of an imprint, maybe I should say, or an energetic imprint. And then it's going to be harder to find that again, or to click that back on. Not that it's impossible.
Yeah, I think, I do believe that the way that a physicality or like unlocking of that type of thing like that would probably come down through the genes, but it's all got to start there in the perception. You know what I mean?
Well, that's where I'm saying I agree with you with the perception.
Energetic field has to trickle down into like manifest reality.
I'm just wondering, like, who was able to trick humans into the perception that we shouldn't have like awesome magic powers? Because I'm a little bit sad about this, because obviously someone tricked us and they won. So that's a little bit disappointing to me personally.
This is another one of those things that another one of the sort of systems or things that have helped me out a lot is a system called right use of will. I would highly recommend checking out that as well. I'm not going to lie, it's a difficult process. So if you start, just be aware it's a difficult process. It's all about like really accepting your emotions and getting rid of denial and stuff like that. But there's the story that they tell that there was a planet somewhere else, right? And this one specific entity was involved so much in like such heavy denial and such bad things that it ended up destroying its own planet, and it ended up coming to Earth back when it was still very much in Eden. People could change shape at will. People were living forever. If you wanted to eat something, you thought about it and it manifested and you ate it, right? So like there was a lot more magic and stuff back then. People didn't have to keep one shape. We could shapeshift. And this thing, through the use of denial and all sorts of and projection, all sorts of other stuff like that, convinced people to start playing a game where we're just going to play a game. I mean, we get reborn anyway, so we're going to play a game where we're going to take this turn now and we're going to hunt you and kill you and eat you. And then it'll be your turn and you can hunt us and eat us. So through successive different ways of like different sort of tricking ways, like it convinced us that things like killing each other is the natural way. It convinced us that we need to eat something that we can physically see and grow instead of manifesting ourselves. That's the more natural way. It convinced us that, you know, like it's not good to be all open with your feelings and that type of stuff, because that's not natural. And like part of the concept of this right use of all things, that like once we get back our stuff enough, God universe is eventually going to get rid of this thing and send it away somewhere else, so it can also learn to evolve and get back to a place. So that's one of the stories that they tell, and a lot of that sort of, to me when I was reading it, I'm like, that feels like it has a lot of truth to it. Like that's the thing with all these systems and stuff like that, right? The way I look at them is that like I read something, if parts of it resonate with me, you know, I'm like, yes, that feels correct. You know,
and I mean, that's the way it's going to be. Even like we were just discussing, like I'm very much into light energy right now. He's very much into Abraham Hicks. Like we all come from different places. The way we process the knowledge that's going to be good for us in this life is going to be different. So you're just going to have to like kind of sift through things and see how it's resonating with maybe where you originate from. It's not an easy process for sure, but like it's there. Personally for me, like I'm at a stage where like I don't like to say seeking, because I'm always trying to use the language of finding. So it's, you know, bringing things to me, but like I'm trying to find more information that's a bit more advanced than just like trying to convince me quantum physics exists and it interludes with magic. Because this is like something I'm struggling with. It's like everything I read is like, yes, quantum physics exists and this is how it applies to magic. And like 50% of the book will always be about that. And I'm like, all right, I'm already, you know, I get that.
I understand that.
But it's it's difficult to find resources that are going beyond that, and like what you're talking about, the use of will book, and things like this. So I definitely, I read the first one. There's 7 of them?
There may be more by now, but yeah, I will.
I've not read the rest of them.
I want to buy some more because I'm missing one that you need. That's the next one in the book that you need to read. Otherwise, I have the rest of them.
We've had this argument. I was like, well, can I just go on the third book? He says no. So I have to wait until this second book magically appears or manifests for myself. So if any of you guys happen to have a book and want to send it our way.
The one that we're looking for is called The Original Cause, basically. So like that's a big part of the concept in this thing, is that we all come from different points in the universe or multiverse when it was born, and by trying to find out the point that you originated from, where you actually came from, you can end up finding a lot of denials that you've had over lifetimes, and sort of like release your judgments around these denials and bring back these parts of yourself that can move faster, that can vibrate faster, so that you can be healthier and more whole and stuff like that. One little side note here, guys. So you'll notice there's like a lot of different stuff on my channel, but like that's kind of what I'm like. I'm like that as well. I'm not like one person. Like you, if any of you've seen the other podcasts that I've done or whatever, I have a lot of different things about me. So yeah, I'm going to be doing astrology shit. I'm going to be doing tarot stuff. I'll be doing the Shaman Sense episodes, which are like, again, taking a lot of these words and things that we might be using here in the podcast and just taking fucking jargon out of it. But right here, right now, it's like I'm having a conversation with Eileen and we're talking about spiritual shit. So we have the same jargon. So like, yeah, different things on this channel are going to appeal to different people. And I love that. I think that's fucking awesome. So I hope you guys can appreciate that.
Yeah, this is true. We're not starting at like, quantum physics. We read this book on quantum physics, and this is how it's applying to our life. Like, I don't know. Everyone, like, I think I not read something, but I think I had this thought process maybe a while ago where it's like Buddhism, Hinduism, Jesus Christ, all these things, like they entered like, what we enter on ayahuasca, but like we all come back with different things. Like I can make a whole religion out of what I've seen, and you can make a whole religion.
Sure, yeah.
So it's like, it's just one concept. That's like what I feel is important to remember. It's just one concept after one human being's experience with going behind the veil. The veil is infinite. Time is infinite. The universe is infinite. Like there'll never be an end to exploring it. Like I think. Yeah. I mean, like I have this like LSD theory where I believe like our parents' generation, they opened the veil, but they didn't have the time to actually go explore underneath or inside the veil. And I think that's like what's coming up for us. And then like when we have children, they're gonna actually start to be able to control that a bit better, and like how to open up like various doors at various times, and like maybe like bring that reality to them. Because like right now we have to do more of like an uphill battle where we're like, I want to try to find this, but I don't know where it is in this, and then we kind of go like, we're like kind of blind walking in a room.
I guess that's the thing. Maybe we're like cartographers right now. You know what I mean? Like the other people just arrived there and settled on the coast, and then like we're now going inland, and like, oh shit, there's a river there, and then like, okay.
Yeah,
but like the kids will actually be able to start setting up houses and shit.
Yeah, so just like bring the reality in, I think, is what's going to happen. But there's always like these kind of steps, and I can't say why they happen in this timeline. I don't know if like, similar to the light beings, like are we coming to some sort of like, we're going to be ascended beings? Like, is this going to happen in our lifetime? Because like what I see around me is like, oh, I don't know, no, we're not many of us are ready. Maybe including myself. I'm like, I hope I can get to a vibrational state of being ready, but it just seems like
it's kind of like, this is like, the analogy that's like running through my brain right now. Like, well, the images, I guess, that's running through my brain now. If you had to imagine giant hands coming into the earth, and they're wanting to lift it and pick it up somewhere else. There's like a lot of rumbling, a lot of shaking and stuff like that. A lot of people are going to fall off, and then like eventually it'll get here and the rumbling will stop, and shitloads of people won't be there anymore, but it'll be in a higher place.
Interesting. So yeah, I don't know, like from what I understand, which like I've tried to deny war, but apparently there's some sort of
Sorry, I'm just checking the time here, guys.
Yeah, what is the timing?
54 minutes. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, my understanding is just like, I guess there could be a war going on in these multi-galaxies, and somehow some of us are going to be activated to be keys or portals to save people. I don't know like how many people are being turned on for what purpose and where they'll get to ascend to, but I'm told they're working towards saving a good amount of us. I don't know how or why or how your one is being chosen, you know what I mean? I'm not really sure, like, is it just luck that, you know, I turned on my DNA, or it was I like picked from the beginning? I really don't know. I can't tell you that, but
yeah,
that's
the thing. I mean, I don't know either. I mean, I know like
luck of the draw.
if I have what, you know, like I really like the whole Ascension idea. That's what I like. I'm really attached to this guy, this physical guy. I don't want to have to reincarnate. I just want to take this with me, you know, and go wherever I want to. I want to fucking go see like a binary star system by myself without a spaceship. Just be there and like, well, it's fucking amazing. You know, I want to go play with the goddamn centaurs if I want to. I want to freaking go live inside the vibration of green for a while.
And I mean, but this brings me to my like, you know, why I struggle with this war concept. It's like if we could have manifested anything, and if you know you get to this Ascension and you can just manifest food and manifest gold and manifest, and like, what are we fighting over? What is the war over? Like everyone has infinite space, infinite ability. Like now we fight over space because we need to grow food and shelter and this and that. And so I'm not understanding. This is what I struggle with.
Like what Graham Hancock says all the time. Like we are a species with amnesia. You know what I mean? Like, and we are. We don't know where we fucking come from. We're under in my opinion, guys, in my opinion, we're all under the illusion that we all come from Earth. We're under the illusion that our DNA is all fucking human. It's not. We don't all belong here. Like, we don't all belong in this place, this fucking planet. It's just, we're just too different. Like, we belong in the place that is of maximum ease for us. And that is going to create tension. And that's which is a good thing, because we're expanding the universe and the multiverse through this contrast. Maybe that's all that we're here for right now. Maybe when God gets enough power back to be able to expand the universe itself, maybe that contrast will ease and we'll just be able to do whatever the fuck we want to do.
That would be nice. I'm hoping for the best with that.
This is another one of those things that, like, that was an interesting little thing that just popped into my brain right now. Why? I think that was probably necessary. One of these other concepts in the right use of will thing says that, the mother, the feminine polarity of God, basically, she had the ability to open space, to make the universe expand. And then when a certain order of angels got born, they were so fascinated with these angels that God as spirit, God as manifestation, and even like God as heart, the balancing thing, and the mother who creates everything, they gave portions of their power to different beings. They gave portions of their power to these angels. And one of these abilities, which belongs to the mother of everything, was the ability to open space. So it's quite possible that all of this shit is happening because, and like it says in these books, like the mother will get back her ability to do this, and they will take these powers that belong to them back. But it's quite possible that this shit is, it's quite possible that this shit is happening because the mother can't open enough space anymore.
Yeah.
I never thought of that before. That's a random little segue, guys. You're going to need to do a lot of studying to understand all that bullshit. Or you can just think, whatever.
Just let it pass through you.
Just let it pass through you. Maybe it will reach some ears, maybe it won't reach others.
I think sometimes people, like for this particular podcast or what we're doing, I think you're going to be, the people that end up watching this regularly or just accidentally come across this, like they're being guided to it, because I get guided through these types of things quite a bit as well.
Yeah.
Like you just find someone's YouTube video or channel, or you find this book or that, And it's like, you hear those concepts and you've never heard those concepts before, and then you're like, I'm gonna go Google that, and then it brings you to a new thing. You're like, I'm gonna go ask, someone if they know about this. So it's all just a process of expanding like what you need to know. Maybe some of the people watching this are like they're being prepared to ascend.
Maybe. I think that's actually a fantastic time to sort of end this on, because we're at about an hour, and that's a good length of time. Eileen's going to go play soccer tonight, probably. It's raining.
It's okay. The rain it won't be too bad. I get my exercise in.
And I'm ridiculously hungry, so I'm going to make myself a delicious avocado shake. But that was a good one, and we're probably going to experiment with Eileen's computer next time. She's got a MacBook, so a different program. We'll see, and if you guys are watching, when the next one comes out, you can be like, oh, the sound on this one was way better, use this one. So we'll do that. Okay. Alright guys, so again, thanks for watching the channel. I'm Adrian.
I'm Eileen.
Alright, peace out.